Good day everyone, and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. Starting the week with the end of Scourge. Obviously, everyone knows Scourge is ending this week, although it's ending actually on the 1st of February, which is kind of 2 days from now, depending on your time zone. So if you haven't completed your challenges yet, definitely be sure to do that in this time frame. Otherwise, let's just get prepared. GG teased the expansion reveal, which happened on the 27th, with just reproposing the previous reveals, which were really brief. And finally, we got the full reveal of Siege of the Atlas, which is the expansion, and Archnemesis, that is the actual Challenge League. So here you can check the trailer, the full content reveal. I highly recommend watching this if you have time. It's a 30-minute video where you get the trailer and all of the content for both the expansion and the league explained. So definitely really good. If you have time, really, it's just 30 minutes, so absolutely recommended. You can check the full Atlas announcement, which we will see in a couple of minutes. Patch notes, obviously, and supporter packs again. Anyway, on the landing page, you can see there's again the trailer here. Very useful, the date for the availability on PC and on console. You can see for PC it's going to be the next Friday, and for consoles it's going to be the Friday after that. Of course, Friday depending on your time zone as usual. And what the expansion entails, it's basically a new revamped endgame where you get different maps. Well, kind of the maps are the same, but the Atlas works differently, we'll see in a bit. And we get new endgame bosses. This is one of the two. This is the Eater of Words. And if you go down, this is the Searing Exarch. So these two are going to be the two new endgame bosses that are going to be on par, maybe even harder than the Maven. And, well, these two bosses come both with a smaller boss, I guess, or a mini-boss before those, where if you defeat those smaller mini-bosses, you may be granted access to these bigger ones. And these two are the Black Star and the Infinite Hunger. Both, of course, yield valuable rewards, and, well, actually the fight with these bigger bosses are actually tradable, so you might just want to skip the first bosses, although they actually drop interesting stuff, so you might actually want to kill them. So there's already an interesting choice there, and that is actually nice. The Atlas has been reworked, as I was saying, and finally, and I mean finally, they removed the 4 or even 8 regions of the Atlas, which I found really annoying and really I just didn't want to play through those, and that's why I never really slugged through all of the maps back then. But now that they've removed that, it looks much more interesting, and with the fact that we have so much more, or so many more ways to actually drop maps now, and there's also new ways, which we'll see in a couple of minutes. You can get so many maps, you can actually progress the Atlas much faster than it used to be. At least that's my impression, and you probably start from these 4 down here, I'm gonna guess. Though we will have to see. Another very big thing is the new Atlas passive skill tree. Of course, since there are no regions anymore, the passive skill tree has been moved to just a level of itself, and well, there's over 600 skills to specialize in, which is absolutely incredible and way too big, to be honest. And, well, for every map that you complete the bonus objective of, you are gaining 1 point. So you have 117, which you can see the number here. You have 117 points into this massive skill tree. Though you need to take in mind that this is going to require some time, or just wait for your favorite streamer to make a video about this, because there's going to be oh so many guides on this, and it's gonna be, I think, amazing. I mean, it looks so good. Honestly, I'm just really hyped about that. There's also new currencies, and these are for basic crafting. Like, there's the Eldritch Ichor and the Ember. I think it's pronounced Ichor, hopefully, and the Ember, and both add or replace the existing implicit of the item. So if you're looking at this item here, you see there's added fire damage to spells, and enemies cannot regenerate life within a radius of 28. And these are, one is fire, let's call it fire and ice. I mean, they just call it, I don't know, Ichor and Embers, I guess. Well, okay, let's call it Ichor and Embers. So you have, one is the Ichor mod and the other is the Ember mod, and both can live together. So the T1s of these, you can actually find them in all the maps. And so starting from T1 maps, you can actually have access to these, which is really, really good. T2 and T3 are going to be granted in higher level maps, while T4 is only from big bosses. The thing is, this Orb of Conflict allows you to magnify one of the two, basically giving it strength over the 4th tier, although it lessens another modifier, or the modifier of the other type. So you can actually do it with one single modifier, increasing the strength and then adding the second one, and you can have a T6 and a T4 as best outcomes for an item. And also, depending on which of these two types of power actually got increased, it basically allows you to use this new type of currency, for example this Chaos Orb, which depends on which mod is dominant. Either, as you can see, it rerolls prefix or it rerolls suffix. There's also an Exalted Orb adding a prefix or a suffix, and an Annulment Orb removing a prefix or a suffix. And these are absolutely huge for endgame crafting. Most of you, me included, will never see any of these, but still they are there, so expect new, awesome, incredible, giga, astro broken items and whatever comes with it. Speaking of broken items, we have powerful new uniques, which drops from the endgame bosses, like this amulet, which gives +1 level to all skill gems, plus quality to all skill gem, increased experience of gems, and reservation reduced for the efficiency skills. Like, I mean, that's so good. And even these items here, you have to have both of those with the same keystone. And, well, it's not even a keystone, it's a mastery keystone. So basically, if you have both of those, you are automatically allocated one mastery keystone, and it does not care if you are of another class. So this definitely is a build enabling thing, although it's so very late game. So yeah, that's going to be requiring a lot of work. At the same time, it's gonna be very amazing for people if they actually make it work. And finally, we got to the actual Challenge League, because there was just the expansion. And the Challenge League basically consists in these figures. You find them in maps, there's a lot of those. You can only fight 4 in a single map or zone. And, well, as you can see, you can drop these items here, which give a monster some strength, like this one gives augmented poison mechanics. It also give rewards. As you can see here, there's items and gems. This one gives items and essences and so forth. And also there are special ones, for example this one, which says all reward types are currency, because the second, the third, the fourth statue that you fight, they will retain the mods that you added on the first one, on the second one, and so forth. So basically at the end you will find with all of the mods accumulated, and you will actually get a multiplied type of rewards. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Also, besides being really rewarding, this is going to be, for once in a while, not a clear speed meta, although clear speed is still going to be king, but a boss killing meta, because these are going to be single rares, really strong rares, and then there's the new bosses. So it's more on the bosses and less on the actual clear speed. I mean, again, we all know clear speed is going to be incredible, but I mean, some single target is going to be needed this time. Also some game improvements or balance improvements, which we are going to look at in a bit. There's also a competitive boss kill event starting alongside the league. It's gonna take place in hardcore solo self-found. So if you are one of the 0.00001% who actually want to compete in this, well, definitely do so. A lot of streamers will do that, so it's going to be interesting, at least at the beginning. Hopefully it's not just going to be a no life challenge, although inherently these races are a no life skill. So we'll have to see how that goes. There's also new stash tabs if you really care about your flasks and your gems. I don't, honestly, but if you have so many gems, like different alternate qualities and all the kind of stuff, I mean, you might want to consider that. There's also new supporter packs if you want to support GGG throughout their progress, I guess. And, well, like, for example, this set looks really good, looks much more of a PoE2 set, and, well, might be worth to take now, as when PoE2 hits, all of these sets will actually transfer with new graphics and everything, so that's actually going to be really amazing. And speaking about balance, as we jumped on earlier, there's two archetypes that GGG really wanted to improve. One is hit-based spell casting, which basically means self-casting rather than anything, because traps, totem mines, trigger skills, damage over time is just way too strong right now. The problem is not the spells, the problem is the game itself, because if you stand still you die, and well, they just adjusted the damage growth of most spells, which on one side is good. I mean, brings the self-cast spells more in line with the others, but it doesn't really resolve the problem that if you stand still you die. So I expect people to stand still more and die more as a result of this, and well, the game is gonna go on as before. An interesting thing is that they removed unique threshold jewels, so this has not been really brought into gems, although gems have been changed in damage generally to compensate for this. Honestly, they should just bring in the threshold jewels with leveling of the gems, but we'll have to see. I mean, for example, Freezing Pulse, I don't think it's that bad in itself. I mean, it's just the best if you add it on totems, and we are not surprised about that with everything else. The other archetype that GGG wanted to increase, or well, I mean improve, I guess, is the hit-based bow attacks, because they really needed a lot of investment to get to a decent power level. Of course, they could get to extreme power levels, but that's just with any skill, honestly, if you spend enough exalt on that. And what I did is improve the damage of bows, improve mastery options. They also made some changes to quivers, and local-added elemental damage modifiers are the same as two-handed melee, which had a higher value, so that's also better. So hopefully this will save hit-based bow attacks if they needed that. There's a lot of other things. For example, Hydrosphere has been nerfed. You can only hit it once every second, because other build could abuse it to multiply their damage on bosses, so that's pretty much a needed change. Marks also have been improved a lot, making them permanent, so it's really good to fight a boss with a permanent mark on it, especially if it's like a lifesteal mark or something like that. And also there's a new support gem that lets attacks trigger marks on hitting rare or unique targets. The big thing, as it says in the spoiler, is that it's not needed to actually, as we say here, does not need to be linked to the triggering attack, and this is actually huge. Of course, there's a small curse effect penalty to the triggered mark, but the fact that you do not have to lose a link to trigger this is very, very strong. Also, Fortification or Fortify, the generation of Fortification for Fortify now ignores the target's damage reduction. This is really big for those builds who actually used Fortify and maybe invested into that, but didn't really do much damage to the monsters. Detonate Dead has been tried to be fixed again. It will never be, but maybe. Now it's working a bit better. Seismic Trap also receiving some changes, and well, I guess there's more, but it's just solution prob. I mean, you can just Control F your favorite thing here, and if nothing in there, your build is completely safe. There's also obviously the full patch notes, so you can see how long it is for just a table of contents. So again, Control F whatever you want to check. And well, if you have time, just check it all. I mean, it's actually interesting, but it's way too much stuff, so definitely just check the parts that you're interested in, and not even gonna go over it, it's way too long. But at last, we also have some more teasers before the league seat, and it's a usual teaser page which has been updated. There's a lot of stuff. There's new divination cards, like if you're doing a lot of blight, you're definitely going to see this card here, but there's also like some of the new passives which are going to be on the Atlas passive skill tree, and there's much more, so definitely check it out if you are planning on some crazy builds like this one, giving more attack 40% more attack damage, which is huge. It's basically one mastery on a berserker thing. Well, if accuracy is higher than max life, although you never deal critical strikes, it's really interesting, though we'll have to see if someone is actually able to get a hold of this and use it really well. But anyway, I guess that was all for this week, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.